Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women's Transformation Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Wilborn of Women'sTransformation.com, coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area. Together, we're going to create a space where you can reconnect with your true self and begin to create a life that fully expresses who you are and what you love. My mission is to help you connect with your true self so that you can experience the magic of manifesting your unique purpose in life, finding what sparks you and living it more every day. I so appreciate you sharing the show with your friends on Twitter and Facebook, and I invite you to visit me on youtube.com/Kim Wilborn. That's KIMWILBORN, where you'll find several short videos I've made to help you raise your vibration. And I hope you'll download your free copy of my ebook, How to Raise Your Vibration in 2 minutes or Less, at www.womens-transformation.com. The call-in number for the show is area code 646-727-3635. Just press 1 and then pound to raise your hand so I'll know that you have a question or comment. And you can also always enter the chat room and connect with me there. Now, on to our topic today. Today we'll be talking about dreaming bigger. So let's jump right in with that. And I'm going to ask you to check in as I ask this question. What does it mean to dream bigger? What's your reaction to the whole idea of dreams and dreaming? Just get conscious, check in, and see what those reactions within you are. See where you stand in terms of dreaming. Because today we're going to expand the vision of what it means to you. Dreams are really visions, capital V visions, that you hold for yourself. And these visions come from deep within you. I believe they're blueprints of who you are and who you can become. They show you what you can really do. And when you dream bigger, you open yourself up to more and more of your true self, that self that's eternal and fully connected to Source. And this is an important topic, this topic of dreaming bigger, because dreams stretch us. They stretch us into becoming the bigger versions of ourselves. So in that way, our dreams actually define us. They show us who we're meant to be and how much of our true potential we are currently manifesting. And that's really what it's all about. So today we're going to be talking about really tuning in to what dreams mean to you, expanding your vision around the whole idea of dreams and tapping into their power to help you become who you're meant to be. And we've got different principles and tools that you can use and take away from today's show to help you begin doing that right away. And while you're listening to the show, I believe you'll feel your energy expanding so that you can step into that larger reality that's waiting for you, that's meant for you. Each of us is living as a version of ourselves, and what we want to do is tap into the power source within us and show up all the way. And I saw a show on TV a while back that just perfectly describes this. And it was a show called Tony Robbins' Breakthrough. It was on in the summer, I think, last year or the year before. And in this particular episode that struck me, there were two people, a husband and a wife. And on this show, Tony Robbins he picked a couple, and he worked with them for 30 days. And this particular couple had gotten married in Mexico, and they'd had their wedding ceremony and their reception at a beautiful hotel there. And during the reception, the husband had an accident in the pool that left him a quadriplegic. And this happened on the night they were married. And they'd been married about 1.5 years, I think, when this show took place. And as I was watching, I couldn't help but look at it from my perspective. When I looked at these people, especially the husband, it seemed to me that this experience had left him not fully what I call embodied. And what I mean by that is each one of us has an eternal spiritual essence that is huge and fully connected to source energy. And it's focused in our physical being while we're here in physical form. And the more we tap into our true selves, the more alive we become, the bigger we become energetically, and the more we embody our greater spiritual self. And you could tell the difference between someone who's just marginally embodied, the way this man was, with his spiritual life force, and someone who's completely alive. You can feel the difference when you're in their presence. You can just see it when they're walking around or when you see them on TV, for instance. And I think when we've experienced pain or disappointment or trauma, especially a lot of it in our lives, we kind of choke off our life force. And yet we are the ones that are in charge of it all the time, in every moment. And the reason this show is such a great example is that at the very beginning you could see the sadness and grief in this man, and even though he was obviously alive, he wasn't accessing the full amount of life force available to him. And it wasn't just in his injuries that you could see this, it was just everything about him. But by the end of 30 days, you could see a drastic change from the different things they did working with Tony Robbins, reconnecting with their dreams, this husband and wife, and doing what they could to live them. And there were a lot of obstacles in the way, but before they had let those obstacles to their dreams kind of defeat them and choke them off from their own original blueprint. And it seemed like a valid thing. But somebody like Tony Robbins coming in and just blasting through those obstacles with his resources and with his mindset and showing them the different ways that they could still pour their energy into those dreams, into those things that were right for them, it brought them back in touch with their life force. And by the end of the show, they were like different people, fully embodied, all that life force flowing through them. And that's what our dreams can do for us. That's what your dreams can do for you. So when we lose access to our dreams, when we become disconnected from them, or when we water them down, or when we try to forget them, we're disconnecting ourselves from a vision that comes from deep within us. And that vision shows us what's truly possible for us. And that's a big point. We wouldn't have this blueprint if it weren't possible for us in some way, shape, and form. So our visions show us what's truly possible for us as bigger versions of ourselves, more fully embodied. Our dreams do define us. They show us who we're meant to be and how much of our true potential we are willing to manifest. They show us how to show up all the way. Stop and think about that for a moment. Your dreams show you how to show up all the way, as scary as that is sometimes. I love that idea. I can see it in myself. Most of the time, I think most of us are not showing up all the way, and I can relate to that. And you know those times in life when you're just fully alive, fully engaged, and you feel that life force just flowing through you. Those are the times you're showing up all the way. But it takes some focus, and it takes an intention. And it takes a willingness to not let the seeming obstacles stand in your way and kind of make you take a detour away from those dreams that are coming from your original, authentic, divine blueprint. So the purpose of the show today is to reconnect you to your power to dream and connect to the visions that are already inside you and to begin to come into vibrational alignment with those so that you can more and more become and live as that bigger version of yourself. And the first thing we're going to do with that in mind is address this. Are you afraid to dream? If we've been disappointed in the past, we may have actually trained ourselves to pretend we don't want the things that we really do want to be, do, and have. Or a lot of times people begin to look at dreaming in terms of wanting, always wanting more. So sometimes it's discouraged. So let's stop and take a look at this. Because expanding into your dreams and letting them be your guiding force isn't about constantly wanting more. It's about being in a state of constant expansion, evolving into that bigger being filled with more love and expressing more of what you love. So the feeling of constantly wanting more comes from a place of lack when you're not really connected to your true self. And you can feel the difference just from how you feel. So when you're cut off from the true power source inside you, you get disconnected from your own truth, and you have that emptiness inside, and that's when you need to seek more and more and more. That comes from a place of lack. But what I'm talking about is living your dreams as much as you can right now and believing that they are signposts and guideposts from Source, whatever words you like to use for Source. Look at your dreams as instructions. I love that. Let that soak in for a minute. Look at your dreams as instructions. Allow yourself to be guided by them. And ground yourself in the knowledge of all that you're meant to do and be and have. And ground yourself in the good feeling of having. More than anything, ground yourself in the energy of love. That connects you not only to your dream and the vision that you're meant to fulfill, but also everything that you would consider to be good in the world. It's really the only power source the universe has. So take advantage of it. Tap into it. Connect to your dreams and visions through love and let the source love in your heart flow through them and bring them into physical reality around you. But think of them as instructions from Source. So ask yourself now, are there places in your life where you're afraid to dream, or where you actually maybe think it's wrong to ask for more or to want more? If so, begin to look at it from a different perspective, and not from a place of lack or wanting, but from a place of becoming. So there's two opposite directions there. The place of lack is where you're trying to bring things in to fill up inside. The place of becoming is coming from a place inside that's already full and expanding it out. And now let's look at some of us who are very aware of what our dreams and visions are, but we've maybe had them a while and haven't seen them progress. We haven't seen ourselves progress toward them, so we've become disenchanted and have begun to feel that they're not possible. Or some of us may not even be in touch with our own dreams because we've just numbed ourselves so much we don't even allow ourselves to hope. So if you're not really sure what your dreams are, use the path of love as your guide. And that's not like a flowery thing or corny thing I'm saying. It means connect to the love in your heart and let that be your guide. And it has to do with what you love. Not kind of a pious spiritual love, but what you love in your heart. It takes a little bit of a different flavor for each one of us, and that's the beautiful thing. And it has to do with all sorts of little trivial things and big things and everything all wrapped into one, but it's what you particularly, specifically love. Set a conscious intention to become more and more aware of what it is you love and what you're drawn to. Look at the movies and books and TV shows that you love and look deeper for clues as to what you're meant to do and be and have. So the things that spark you, if you're not really sure about your vision, your own internal blueprint, use the path of love to become more clear. And let some more light shine on that path. And you can do that just by paying attention to what you already know that you love. All the clues are there. You just need to be open to them. And don't think you have to figure anything out or make anything happen. This is really about just becoming more and more what you already are, what you truly are. So we can use a flower analogy. You don't have to build a lot of things on top of a flower. You just need to give the flower what it needs to bloom. So for more clues as to what your personal dreams and visions are, look at the people you admire. And if you already know what your dreams and visions are, do this as well, because it gives you even more clarity and a bigger sense than you may be allowing into your consciousness of what your own blueprint is. So look at people who are living lives that are quote-unquote bigger than yours. And what that means in this sense is that they're filled with more possibility. So look at the people you admire. Get clues from that, who they are, as to what your own path is. One of the things this show is about today is broadening your boundaries, the ones that you've created, in terms of what you think is possible for you, and allowing what's inside you to expand. And one practical physical thing you can do, and this is something that's good if you're not sure what your dreams are, or even if you are aware of your dreams, begin a scrapbook of articles and clippings that are meaningful to you. And don't use your conscious mind when you do this. It's just whenever anything sparks you, it seems to have a charge to it, and you get that positive feeling about it, put it in there. Put things in, especially when you don't know the reason you're drawn to it. That's your own wisdom coming through. Go ahead, cut it out, and add it to your scrapbook. Keep adding to it, and you'll see a story taking form, something that informs you about your own blueprint and your own superpowers just wanting to come forth. Your superpowers are hidden within your dreams. As you know, I believe each one of us has spiritual superpowers, things that we would love to be able to do, but we think we can't, except we really can. And they show up the more we tap into that true self and allow ourselves to be those bigger selves. And it shows up in a different way for each one of us, but it's magical every single time. Then another exercise you can do is write, I love, and then fill in the blank. And keep going down a page just doing this over and over. And if you do this every morning or every evening, you'll begin to refocus yourself on the things you love, and you will get a clear picture of that blueprint inside you. Remember, your dreams are instructions. And as you begin to start a discerning process of giving yourself the power to notice what it is you particularly, specifically love, and to focus on that and move toward that instead of just being in reactive mode, you'll see the value and importance of activating that capacity to love within you. Usually we just react to what's going on around us, and we use our energy to just kind of survive and try to make the best of whatever the situation is. Instead, when we focus on what it is we love, we set a process into motion whereby we're creating this kind of bubble of reality around us, which at its essence is that love. And things begin to look very different. You begin attracting new things into your life, and you begin impacting others in more positive ways. So let the things you love actually become your path. And the great thing about that is that it feels so good. Your path will actually feel so much better than anything else. It's a path of love, not one of fear or risk. And you're actually building and creating it step by step. So again, let that good feeling be your guide, because you know when you're feeling good, that's when you're aligned with your true self. And when you're not feeling good, that's when you're thinking and activating within yourself something that's out of alignment, something that's not true about yourself, something that's less than what you really are. So as you go along this path of noticing and giving values to the things you love and beginning to dream bigger, record your new insights and the changes that come from it. Record the changes that you see in your life outside of you and also the changes you see inside you. And that way you can integrate them fully. Now, the next tool we're going to talk about here is giving yourself permission to dream. Now, right now, I know I'm talking to a lot of different women, and each one of you probably falls at a different place on the spectrum. So you may be someone who hasn't given yourself permission to dream, and you may feel that it's wrong to ask for more than you have, or you may be someone who's very comfortable with the idea of dreaming, but who's become disappointed because your dreams haven't taken form around you yet. So no matter where it is that you fall on the spectrum, use this tool to give yourself a whole new permission to dream. And what that means is really looking at it in a new way. So begin to recognize, reframe it in your mind, see it in a new light, and recognize that dreaming is not something frivolous, and it's not something you're asking for that you shouldn't be asking for. Your dreams will involve people and places and things, but your dreams, that vision that you hold for yourself, really isn't about things at all. It's not about anything outside you at all. Your dreams are actually about you creating that bigger version of yourself. For instance, if someone has a dream to be wealthy and they're not already wealthy, if they're not already financially empowered, then their dream is not really for the wealth itself, but for the possibilities and choices that they will experience as a wealthy person. It's about the version of themselves that they will be as financially empowered. So begin looking at your own dreams that way right now. Focus on who you will be when you're living your dream. And when you look at it that way, I think it begins to give you permission because you see how showing up in a bigger way actually serves the whole world. It's not a selfish thing. And we should also remember that, of course, as we know, giving ourselves permission to do anything is giving everyone permission to do it. So realize that your dreams are really about you creating that bigger version of yourself, stepping into it, showing up. They're also about empowerment. And you'll notice that there's a facet of empowerment in every single one of your dreams. Having more power to create more of what you love and have a bigger impact on the world as far as creating more love. And as you know, if you listen to the show, I believe the purpose of life is to bring the energy of love into physical form. And that's what you're doing when you live out your dreams and visions. And again, the thing I love about it is that it's so different for each one of us. And I love seeing all the different ways that it can show up. So remember, your seed, your dream is like a seed of what you are. When you're dreaming bigger, you're really seeing yourself in a bigger way. It's like you're watering that seed. You're really having more of that spiritual life force energy inside you, being more alive and more in love with life. So now let's just take a second and put in a reminder that dreams are different than goals. Dreams are visions that express who we truly are. They are instructions and guides as to what our original authentic blueprints are. And when we're truly and completely in touch with these dreams, the visions that express who we really are, it feels really good. And it feels like having, even if the dreams haven't physically manifested yet. The goals are different because they bring up a sense of tension, and they highlight the difference between where we're at and where we want to be. And I think most of us tend to look at our dreams as goals, and that's part of the problem. When we do that, we activate that space in between the wanting and the having. We activate the lack. And that sets up a chain reaction that pushes us in a direction away from our dream. So remember, dreams aren't goals. The things that actually create in life all start from our vibrational alignment with what it is we want. When we get ourselves in vibrational alignment with our dreams, and the things that we love, that's when we're inspired to take action that will actually bring our goals to fruition. The action without that vibrational alignment doesn't bring us the outcome that we want. And so many times when we have goals, we force ourselves to do things, and the things we do don't bring about the results we're seeking, and that's why. So instead, look at it not so much as something you have to think about or figure out and do. Instead, think of it as a way that you have to be, or a way that you can allow yourself to be. Think of yourself as that flower we were talking about earlier. Excuse me. That flower just needs to bloom more. Or you might think of it as a whole rose bush, for instance, and you could think of yourself that way. Maybe right now you've got 1 or 2 blooms going, but you have the potential for so many more. And it's not anything you have to push or work at. It's just an allowing. It's not really a goal that the rose bush has. It's just a matter of being in the right environment and soaking in the right things. And then what's meant to be just happens. That rose bush just expresses more and more of what it is. So I hope right now, this far into the show, you're getting a different kind of energetic sense within yourself. And I hope that if you've become disconnected from your dreams, you're beginning to feel that they are more and more not only possible, but meant to be. And I hope that you're feeling good in your body and in your spirit. So now let's talk about grounding that energy. Because we don't just want to live in our heads, and we don't want to think of our dreams as just mental pictures. I'm froggy today. Instead, we want to embody the energy of our dreams. We want to embody it. We want to ground it into every part of our being. So stop right now. Take a moment, if it's a safe place to do so. And drop your energy like roots into the earth. And connect in your heart with all the wonderful things that you would like to be and do and have. Connect with that bigger version of yourself. Connect with that in your heart. Activate it within you, and then spread it out to every part of your body and into the energy around you, and then ground that down into the earth. Think of those roots as a system of roots, just like the ones that support the trees. Connect with the energy of your dreams within your body and your being, and connect that down into the earth through those roots. Now, the earth represents our physical reality, and that's what we want to bring into the equation here. We've got our dreams energetically within us, but we also want to experience them in physical reality. So partner with the consciousness of the earth in doing that. The consciousness of the earth is huge. That's why nature is so powerful. It's very big, very strong, and completely loving. Completely focused on your well-being. So partner yourself. See yourself as that beautiful plant or flower bush or whatever comes to you in this moment, and see the energy of the earth and the physicality of the earth partnering with you and supporting you in blooming forth in all sorts of ways that you maybe even haven't thought of yet. Allow that to happen within you right now. The beautiful about our dreams and visions is the more we allow them to reside within us, and the more that we feed them, the more wonderful surprises we receive. So we're almost out of time, but I want to quickly say, expand your idea of what's possible. We don't want to attach ourselves to a specific thing we want, because usually that brings us tension. Instead, if there's something specific that you love, connect to it through that love. If you can feel as good about loving that thing, whether or not it's in your physical space, that's when you're on the right track. Connect yourself to your visions and dreams through the love in your heart. As you go through the days and weeks to come, identify the dreams in your heart for every of your life, and do it in a balanced way. Identify your dreams for your body, your relationships, your family, your home, your work. And if you don't already have a dream, get in touch with what that is.